This is Matthew Kratter from Trader University, and today I want to talk about a mining pool called Poolin that appears to be in serious trouble. Many of you are worried about this, and I want to cover what it means for Bitcoin and the Bitcoin ecosystem. In order to understand what a Bitcoin mining pool is, we have to distinguish it from a Bitcoin miner itself, or the mining machines, which are called ASICs, and that stands for application-specific integrated circuits. These are very specialized machines that can do only one thing, which is mine for Bitcoin. And they look like this. You can buy one today for anywhere from a couple $1,000s to $10,000 or more. Now, if you have one of these machines at home and you plug it in, you use electricity, you try to use it to mine Bitcoin, the odds are very low. The probability is very low that you will ever find the next block. In other words, get to mine the next block in the Bitcoin blockchain. And the way you are able to do this is if you are the first ASIC to guess the magic number that has enough zeros in front of it that satisfies the difficulty adjustment, which we've talked about in other videos. But if you win this block, if you win the next block, then 100 blocks later, you get to collect what's called the Coinbase reward, the miner subsidy. It's that 6.25 Bitcoin plus any transaction fees. So if you're just mining it on a single machine, it's a little bit like just digging with a shovel for gold. It's much better. It might make more sense to get all your friends together and you all dig for gold, and then you share it and you increase. You have to share the ultimate rewards, but you do increase the probability of finding them. If you don't do this, what's going to happen is your ASIC will eventually lose value over time. You'll have to depreciate it, and then you'll be spending all this money on electricity, and you might not see any revenues if you never find the next block. So a mining pool is very similar to a bunch of people getting together, deciding to mine gold rather than just doing it solo. What a Bitcoin mining pool is, it's really nothing more than a node that a lot of ASICs have pointed their hash rate to. And so then if a block is found, if that mining pool finds or creates the next Bitcoin block, everyone who's in that mining pool gets to split the rewards based on what percentage of the hash rate they are contributing to the mining pool. So if I'm contributing 1% of the mining pool's hash rate, in other words, processing power, with my ASIC, if I'm contributing 1% of the hash, then I'll get 1% of the rewards minus a small fee that goes to the Bitcoin mining pool operator in exchange for this sort of coordination. Now, there are a couple important notes here, which a lot of people often miss. First of all, it's very, very easy to switch mining pools. All I need to do is point my ASIC to a different mining pool, to a different mining pool node. Number two, a Bitcoin mining pool may be in China, as Poolin is, but anyone from around the world can join the pool. In fact, most ASICs contributing to a mining pool in China are probably not physically sitting in China, especially given the Chinese Bitcoin mining ban. Though there does appear to be a fair amount of hash rate still there, but I would say the majority is still probably sitting outside and pointing to a Chinese mining pool. So for example, I could join a Chinese mining pool from Colorado. The ASIC would still be in my house or garage, and it would be providing hash to that mining pool in China. Now, some of these mining pools require KYC, in other words, providing personal information. I believe Foundry, which is the biggest one in the US, does require KYC, but most of these mining pools do not, and I do not think they should require KYC. The whole point of mining is you can opt in. There's no license required. There's no permission required. I suppose there's permission from a mining pool, but anyone can mine Bitcoin who wants to on their own machine. Now, unlike proof of stake pools or validators, Bitcoin mining pools are not sticky. So when you stake your coins using Coinbase or Lido, they have your coins. You've locked them up with them. In exchange, you're earning some sort of interest rate. You're earning some cash flow from the validator rewards, from the staking rewards. But when I mine Bitcoin with an ASIC from my garage, it's not sticky at all. I can switch mining pools at a moment's notice. And this is because my coins are not staked with Coinbase or Lido. My ASIC is not sitting in Beijing or at Coinbase. It's sitting in my garage, not your ASICs, or not your mining machine. And as we discovered, there were a lot of people who lost ASICs. I believe with Compass Mining, these ASICs were sitting in Russia. And now we believe that Russia is using those machines to mine Bitcoin. They're much smarter than the US government is. So this is the nice thing about these mining pools. They're very fluid, and they don't need to be sticky. It's very easy for Bitcoin miners to move from one pool to another. And this is how Bitcoin is designed. It's designed for nation state level attacks. It's designed to be anti-fragile and robust. And this is in contrast to proof of stake coins. Ethereum, of course, is moving to proof of stake. Proof of stake coins are not as robust as this. It's very difficult to move from one staker to another. You have to unstake and then move. It's not something that you can do in less than a minute. Now, in the history of Bitcoin, whenever a mining pool gets close to having 51% of the total hash rate, at which point conceivably, theoretically, they could launch a 51% attack, which itself is not the end of the world. You're just attacking the tip of the blockchain. And to rewrite any significant number of blocks would require tremendous amount of electricity. This is something we can talk about in another video. But at least historically, Bitcoiners have tried to not empower a single mining pool with enough hash rate such that they get to 51% and might be tempted to do a 51% attack. So what happens is that the individual miners just choose to leave whenever a mining pool gets too large in terms of hash rate. If you're finding this video helpful so far, I just ask you to hit that subscribe button right there on your screen, hit the like button, share this video with a few friends. So the great example of this was back in 2014 when 𝐂𝐈𝐓.io got a little too large and Bitcoin miners all decided to leave, and gas reassured people that they weren't trying to launch a 51% attack. But this is how non-sticky Bitcoin mining pools are, and it makes it, I think, to be a little bit difficult kind of business to run for this reason, because your customers, in other words, the ASICs and Bitcoin miners, can really leave you overnight. So that's a contrast. That's the background here for the difference between a mining machine itself, an ASIC, and a mining pool. And this makes the fact that one of the top Bitcoin mining pools currently appears to be insolvent, unable to pay its bills. It makes it a little less scary. So this is a mining pool based in Beijing. They're assuring users that all their assets, all the Bitcoin that is still being held there and ETH is safe, but for some reason they're unable to pay out past mining rewards. What they've said is going forward, all daily mined coins will be paid out every day, but the payout of current Bitcoin and ETH balances on the pool. So this is a Bitcoin mining pool that mines different coins, and in particular Bitcoin and ETH. So the payout of owed balances is going to be temporarily suspended. They're making a snapshot of these balances on September 6th, and then they will, at least theoretically, slowly pay these out, and newly mined coins will be paid out normally per day. They're moving to zero fees temporarily to try to incentivize people to stay with them. So zero fees from September 8th to December 7th. Now, I hope it's obvious to you, if you are mining, that you should not be using Poolin in this context. This is very dangerous. There's a very good chance that these coins, these balances, are never paid out. And what they're doing is they're just trying to buy themselves time to sort of dig themselves out of a hole that they've somehow gotten themselves into. And I don't know how you do this, because running a Bitcoin mining pool, it doesn't seem that difficult. You just collect a percentage of the revenue off the top, and all you need to do is not mess things up and somehow do something else with those coins instead of paying them out. If I were currently contributing hash to the Poolin mining pool, I would be pointing my Bitcoin mining machine to a different mining pool, because there's a very good chance, as I said, that these past balances are never paid out. Were there any warning signs we can ask? Well, to begin with, this is a mining pool that is based in Beijing. It's inside of a country that does not exactly respect private property or transparency. And I know in saying that, my Chinese social credit score is probably plummeting as we speak. There was another warning sign, which is that Poolin, at least last year, was also doing DeFi yield farming. So they had their hands in a lot of different things, and they probably lost money on the DeFi side of things, and they somehow tried to use their Bitcoin or ETH to fund that, and now they're in trouble and they can't do their basic business operations. So how does this problem heal itself? Well, what's going to happen is people, as I said, will just stop pointing their ASICs to Poolin. They'll move to other pools instead. And again, this takes just about 60 seconds to do. If we take a look at the hash rate that was in Poolin over the past month before this happened, they controlled about 10% of the hash rate. And again, when I say controlled, this is a very tenuous form of control because the miners inside of the mining pool can leave at any time. So they've historically been about 10% of the hash rate. As this news has come out, people have moved to different pools, so they're now currently at about 5.5% of the hash rate. This is why Bitcoin is so anti-fragile. It's so robust. It's like the honey badger. You can keep shooting arrows at it, things can go wrong, and yet it keeps chugging along. If you are mining, have been mining with Poolin, and you want to switch to a different pool, I've heard very good things about Slush Pool by Brain. So I'll link to their Twitter account in the description notes below. Now, I want to contrast what's happened here with a Bitcoin mining pool with what happens when a staked ETH validator gets too large, and also what happens when those same validators are also large regulated corporations that are told by the US government to censor certain ETH addresses or transactions. What are they going to do? They will end up complying and censoring. And so what we have now with Ethereum moving to proof of stake, we have a new green captured coin. And ETH is already there. If you take a look at the validators and the size of them, Lido is currently at about 30.5%. Coinbase is at 14%. Kraken is at 8.48%. And Binance is at 6.4%. And this is combined with the fact that you have coins from the beneficiaries of the original ETH pre-mine. And the thing is, under proof of stake, the more coins you have, the more control you have over the protocol, because you can be chosen. You have a much higher probability of being chosen to validate the next block. And if the US government tells you as a regulated organization that you need to censor something, we know that you will censor it. This is already what happened with Tornado Cash addresses on Ethereum. So this is one of the big differences between proof of stake and proof of work. When a Bitcoin mining pool like Poolin runs into trouble, it's not a threat to the protocol at the base layer level. It's just bad news for those who are owed money by Poolin. But when you have this sort of same centralization happening under a proof of stake system like Ethereum is moving to very shortly, what you end up with is a completely captured coin. And I'm not sure why Ethereans can't understand this. I've made many videos on this topic if you want to browse them and learn more about this. If you found this video helpful, be sure to hit that subscribe and like button. Hit the notification bell if you want to be notified when I publish my next video. And let me know your questions and comments in the comment section below. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.